What's up? What's up? It's your girl Mickey Truth, aka Mickey Facts, and I'm definitely back with another episode of Speaking Truth with Mickey. This week I'm doing it a little different. I'm actually recording through Clubhouse, so it's going to be a discussion topic. And as y'all know from the photo in the picture, we're talking about Lil Woody. A lot of people may be like, "Who is that?" Well, y'all already know the Young Thug Rico case has been trending all week, probably the past couple weeks. But nevertheless, we're going to get into it. Allegedly, Lil Woody is a YSL affiliate and possibly a snitch or informant, depending on how you want to word it, on the case in its entirety. I'm going to open up the floor on Clubhouse for everybody to kind of chime in on if they know who Lil Woody is, where does he fit in, what's the word on social media regarding him, and then we're going to get into the paperwork. So, all right, Clubhouse, anybody want to chime in on who Lil Woody is in reference to the YSL case, or what they think or what they know about him being associated with YSL?
Yeah, Lil Woody a shooter.
Ooh, so he basically supposed to be definitely in the streets. I'm gonna take that as he's in the streets, no doubt, right?
Oh yeah, he credible for sure. Like he was outside.
Anybody else? Because I know I didn't hear a Lil Wood until recently. I wasn't aware that he was allegedly the the informant on the case that started. You know, and that's part of what's going on around on social media. I even did a search on YouTube, and that's pretty much you can see his name and you see Snitch or you see YSL affiliate tails on Young Thug. That's basically all the titles.
I mean, yeah, I ain't hear about him until recently either, Miss Mickey. But apparently, I mean, supposedly he been locked up. He been sitting like for a second, for a little minute, you know.
Lil Woody one of the thug main hitters, so if he's snitching, that can be damaging.
Yeah, I mean, he the one
Hmm.
with the dreads, right? With the tattoos in his face. He a big youngster. Like he look like he kind of big, but he a youngster.
Well, the
Nah,
pictures I saw of him, he don't have dreads.
nah, he ain't
He's
got
Okay,
like
I
dread.
must be
balding
thinking
on
of
the top.
somebody else. I must be thinking of somebody else. Let me look into it right there.
So for those who don't know, Lil Woody's real name is Kenneth Copeland. If you're familiar or you've been following the YSL case, that name is not. It's not listed on the RICO case with Young Thug. Just to throw that out there. I had a conversation with someone last night who stated he was. Kenneth Copeland, aka Lil Woody, is not listed on the YSL RICO case. So that's definitely a fact. A confirmed fact. Definitely. Um I was about to go into what you said, Jesse, but were you referring that to somebody else you thought, or was that still with the same name for Lil Woody?
Um, well, name wise, well, okay, look, when it comes to the person that you're referring to, I think I might have their face wrong, but when it comes to what you're saying they did, I think I think we're on the same page. I think that's the person who the young one, right? He young.
He was born in. I don't think he's young, but dang, what is his birthday?
Let's
Um,
see, YSL.
1984. Oh no, wrong person. Hold on. I done put the
Y'all don't
wrong person
remember?
in.
Y'all don't remember that song when Thug said, "I get Lil Woody to pull up and pop at your noggin."
No, I ain't never heard of that.
I
But
recognize that
1991,
line.
he ain't that young.
He ain't that young, nah.
All
Let's
right, so
see.
you said something, Jesse, that I wanna. That's where we're gonna start with the paperwork. You said that he recently just got out. All right, so I don't know if it's confusion or if it's just clickbait where they're just putting stuff out there to for people to click on it. But
Mm-hmm.
Lil Woody was indicted by the feds, not the state of Georgia, the feds in 2015. Okay.
Mm.
He then, however, pleaded out, and we're going to get into the paperwork in a minute, but this is the timeline. He pleaded out and got put on supervised release. And
Mm.
if you look him up on YouTube, he did an interview with I think it's Jump Off the Porch or
Oh,
Off
you
the
talking
Porch.
about Dirty Glove Bastard? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
he did an interview with them while he was on probation. So
Yep. In
that
2020.
there, right, can confirm the timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, in 2020, he picked up a state case. Okay, so he went to jail, and before 2015, he got a rap sheet. But we're just going to focus on 2015. Does anybody know what major event happened in 2015 that's in Atlanta that's important not only to Atlanta but to the YSL case itself? Anybody know?
2015. I was okay. What is
Is
that's
that
when
when
Nut?
Nut
That's
got
when Nut.
killed?
That, yeah, I was just gonna fast. That's when
Yes.
Nut died.
And then I
Bingo.
think Lil Woody got into a shootout at his house. I think they pulled up at his house while he with his baby and tried to goddamn knock him off.
Bam. Thank you, Rod, for setting the stage for me
Oh
because
yeah,
that's
come on
exactly
now.
where
That
I'm
my
about to
zone
go
four nigga
into.
right there. You know what I mean?
All right. So, y'all ready? Let's get into the paperwork and the actual timeline. According to, okay, let me be clear on this. According to the federal government, this is
Mm.
not.
Mm.
I got in kind of a little conversation last night about the DA in Georgia. This
Mm.
ain't her. These documents are from the federal government, okay, not the state of Georgia.
Mm.
Not at this point. All right. So according to the 500 pages, yes, y'all, 500 pages was on this case, okay? Lil Woody, aka Kenneth Copeland, was detained by Atlanta Police Department in April 2015. All right? That's the starting point as far as the federal government's case. Just to put out a fact that's gonna kind of help us throughout the paperwork. Nut, aka Donovan Thomas, which a lot of people hear like Wife and Lucci talking about him, was killed January 2015. Okay, so that death happened January 2015. Then the federal case began as far as the investigation in April 2015. In that
Mm-hmm.
case, I'm gonna tell y'all what the charges was on the federal case. The charges on the federal case. Hold on, give me a second. It is a lot of paperwork.
They started that investigating because all this spinning that happened after Nut died. I'm sure.
So the cases were unlawful transport of firearms. Well, that was the only one. Unlawful transport of firearms, and then it was unlawful carry of a firearm by a convicted felon. All right. So again, that had nothing to do with what any RICO. It's not any gang related per se charge. Those are what he got picked up on. But I'm glad Jesse brought up issues that was known to have happened. So I'm gonna read in the paperwork it say exhibit A for his Fed case, but it actually dates back to February 2015. And the officer or detective that is stating this information goes by the name of Investigator Gaither. Okay. And it is said in this paper, in this affidavit, that she is a gang task force officer or detective, basically. All right. So here we go. It says here, I have been assigned to the gang unit for the previous 5.5 years. On January 9th, 2015, Donovan Peanut Thomas was shot and killed. Thomas was a member of the Nine Deuce Bloods. Several hours after his death, other members of Nine Deuce Bloods claimed that Kenneth Copeland was the killer. And again, Kenneth Copeland is Little Woody. Since that time, there has been 14 drive-by shootings in retaliation to the death of Thomas. 10 of those shootings have been directed at Kenneth Copeland and or members of his immediate family. On February 19, 2015, Copeland, along with his girlfriend, and I'm not going to mention her name, and their 10-month-old baby, I'm not going to mention the baby name, were walking from their apartment located, I'm not going to say the address, to their vehicle, which was parked on the curb. As Copeland loaded the baby into the vehicle, a silver Pontiac approached, drove alongside of their vehicle, and began firing rounds from a high-powered assault rifle. Copeland returned fire at the suspects, who then fled. As the suspects fled, they crashed into a house at, and I'm not going to say the address, causing damage to the vehicle and to the side of the homes. The suspects fled the scene and were not apprehended by police. The next day, officers located the AR-15 assault rifle in a dumpster next to the car crash scene. The rifle was covered in blood and also appeared to have been damaged by a gunshot. There was also blood on a windshield and front compartment of the vehicle. It appears someone was injured during this incident. The homeowner at, I'm not going to say the address, advised two subjects exited the vehicle after the crash and began to drag a third suspect from the vehicle as he was injured. The suspects disappeared into the woodline. Copeland, again, Lil Woody, was able to identify one suspect as Tay Fleetwood. The officer was able to secure arrest warrants for Fleetwood and another suspect, Octavius Franklin. Both suspects are members of the Nine Deuce Blood gang. We're gonna pause right there. So for what did y'all get from what I read so far?
I know I missed one part, but you said 10 of those shootings was targeted at his people.
At him or and his people.
Damn, they aim trash.
So
Yeah, niggas coming through the shit.
I would definitely say it was definitely street business for sure.
For sure.
So I'ma just, y'all know me. My motto is no matter the reason, snitching is snitching. Okay, he definitely
Yeah,
snitched because he told who the shooter
he
was.
identified the shooter at the scene.
Yeah, and it's in black and white. Okay, now as far as a civilian, damn right, you shot at me, my old lady, and my baby. But even in his own interviews, he make it clear he's in the streets. So, you know, snitching is snitching. You know. But that is deep. So far in the timeline, the streets, including the nine Deuce Bloods, had it in their minds that Copeland, aka Lil Woody, was the killer of Donovan Thomas, aka Nut. Now, this is in February 2015. He has not caught his Fed case yet. Okay. All right, so it continue to talk about the suspects in this case, Fleetwood and Franklin. Now, I do want to make one disclaimer: the Fleetwood in this document is not the Fleetwood that is on the Rico case with YSL. Don't know if they're related, but they're not the same person. I just want to put that out there. Anybody got any questions before I continue?
Yeah. You say, well, hold on, Rod. Who
What's happening?
Hey, so Woody got into it with them niggas, that other nigga that I asked you about the other day. What's his name?
Uh,
Them nigga been filing now.
you talking about the YSL Mundo?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, been here. They got
yeah. They
internal
been in.
issues. Yeah, they got
Yeah,
internal
cause you know
issues.
they argue about who started this shit.
You said Mundo,
Mm-hmm.
that other rapping nigga.
I ain't never heard him rap.
I never heard him rap.
I lied. His name, he got shouted out though in the hitting song with Moneybag Yo and somebody else. The nigga definitely sound like they was from Atlanta though.
Yeah, them got shot on
Oh,
Thug
you talking
song,
about hit?
Slime Mundo with me.
Yeah, that's Mondo.
No, yeah.
But I don't think that's what Jesse
Nah, I'm
talking
talking
about
about
though.
that song, the hidden, diamond,
Yeah, that's
hidden,
not him
hoe,
though.
hidden, yeah. Jesus, daughter, here, man.
So,
All right,
so this whole time they just been having internal beef. So it just
Yeah.
makes sense why Woody doing what he doing.
Mm.
all right. So this document further continues to go on regarding the U.S. Marshals going to pick up Fleetwood and Octavius Franklin. Now, it does mention in this document that it is another confidential source who provided information on the whereabouts of excuse me, Octavius Franklin and Tay Fleetwood, along with a friend named D. It doesn't give no more info on who D is, but um, they flat out said Lil Woody identified the person that shot at him, but then they say a confidential source. And nowhere else, I'm gonna put it out here now, does it say who that confidential source is. Just side note. Now, this was done February 27th, 2015. And this was on, I guess, their request to do a warrant to go into the home. Yep, it is. It said, I request permission to enter and search so and so address to collect evidence and contraband in relation to this case. So he definitely um helped out with that case. Now, personally, do I blame him on that? No. But if you in the streets, I mean, that's definitely a no-no, just in my opinion. Everybody might feel differently in regards to that, but I don't blame him. That's for sure.
No, he definitely snitched. I guess the only excuse he could have is they shot at my child, but that even then, I guess if you're a
Yeah,
street
when
nigga,
you
that ain't
out
no
there,
excuse.
No, that ain't no
exactly.
excuse. Go handle your business.
All right, so now we're going to get into that was, like I said, February 2015. Fast forward to April 28th, 2015 is when the actual investigation for the Fed case started. Now, I am going to be reading, I'm going to skim through, but I'm going to make sure the gist of it. Matter of fact, before I go, I got the transcript from court, but before, let me find the document so I can tell y'all exactly the outline of the incident from the 28th. Um, yep, let me see. That's not it. I should be more organized, but y'all going through 500 pages is I don't want to do it again. I tell you that much. All right, bam. And fun fact, while I'm looking for the paper, y'all remember? Well, y'all are aware of the situation with Patrick Clark in Houston, Texas, and how he requested money for his defense. Well, Lil Woody, aka Kenneth Copeland, did the same thing. So it's definitely can do it. I'm just saying. This is the second case I heard that's being done. Okay, so I'm just gonna read it off the transcripts because I can't find the actual original warrant. Okay, so I'll just read off the transcripts. So the transcript is gonna be talking about the events that happened on April 28th, which is the reason why he ended up going to federal jail. And this is from the police officer that was on the scene. Here we go. It says, on April 28th, 2015, did you receive any information about an incident at the Dunbar Center regarding Mr. Kenneth Copeland? The officer said, yes, ma'am. Then it says, what information did you receive? The officer says, I believe it was Officer Mercure from Zone 3 raised the gang unit on the detective radio. It then says, what does raise mean? He then answered, it asked dispatch to communicate with someone in the gang unit to notify them that they need their assistance. Then it says, what happened then? The answer is he asked to go to TAC 1, which is a restricted channel, which is basically a talk around channel. You can kind of keep the main detective channel clear. If you have something long to say, we switch over to the talk around channel. And at that time, he stated that Mr. Copeland asked for me to meet with them at the Dunbar Center where he had been detained. Now, I have to correct something. It's not the police officer. This is the detective. Um, Gaither, the original one I told you guys from the February incident that executed the warrant on the other two people, or the two suspect that shot at Lil Woody. This is her in court
That's a
stating that
lady,
she
right?
was requested. Yes.
I know her.
Okay. Now, y'all caught what it said. I'm going to read this last part again. It says, at that time, he stated that Mr. Copeland asked to speak with me and to meet at the Dunbar Center where he had been detained. Next, it said, have you met Mr. Copeland before? She answered, yes, I have. Then it said, have you met him in person? She replied, yes. Then it says, do you see him here in the courtroom today? She replies, yes, and then goes to point out where he's located. Now, I'm going to skim down to where she talks about, like, when she got on scene, what happened. Let's see here. She then starts by saying that by the time she got to the area, the officers had left the Dunbar Center and they were now at the side parking lot next to the Turner Field, just off of Hank Aaron Drive. Side note, how far does anybody from Atlanta area know what the Dunbar Center is or where it is?
Yeah.
How far is
Sim
that from Turner Field?
is right there.
Oh,
Right
okay.
there.
I mean, it's literally right there.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, like, why are they? Okay, gotcha. Then it says, this is the question that the lawyer asked the detective. Had you requested to talk to Mr. Copeland on April 28th of 2015? They replied, no, I did not. The question then says, did you respond to the Dunbar Center on that day at all? She replied, no, I did not. Next question is, when is the first time you heard that there was an incident at the Dunbar Center? She then says, when Officer Mercure raised us on detective radio and when I arrived to Turnerfield, he explained what had occurred. They then said, when you arrived, were you by yourself or were you with others? And then she stated, my partner, Investigator Dennis, was with me, and I believe Inspector Tyler Cunningham and Inspector Underwood were in another vehicle. That's a lot of people coming, that's for sure. So then it goes into, like, were you in plain clothes? She said yes. All right, now we're going to get into the weapon. The question is, did he have a weapon? She stated, I don't recall seeing a weapon. However, Officer Mercure had stated that Mr. Copeland was in the back seat of his patrol car and that a weapon was in his trunk believed to be Copeland's. Y'all following me so far? All right, here we go. Now it says, what did Mr. Copeland say, if anything, in response to your statement? What's up? She said he started ranting about he just got out of jail, that he didn't have a gun, to tell these people that I didn't have a gun. Then he started talking about an incident that had occurred earlier that morning with some friends of his from Mechanicsville. Dimitri Garlington, and some other individuals. Some shootings and a fight. He was just more or less ranting about he had just gotten out of jail, I hadn't done or was doing anything. Now, let's start right there. Based on that, what are y'all getting from that?
I'm glad I did all my things in the early age and not right now, because there's a lot of telling going on.
For sure. For sure.
So he mean with them to tell them that he didn't do something?
Basically, now, um, okay, so let me give y'all a background to the incident because I couldn't find it, and just for time purposes, and I'm recording live. I don't want to keep looking for through the papers. But the incident was a 911 call came in stating that a black male had a gun at the Dunbar Center. Officer arrived and they found Copeland, who they put on record known to be a gang member, shooting basketball, and it was a white H&M plastic bag in the bleachers. The officer originally stated he could tell or can see the butt of the gun poking out, but later in the court docs, he says that he went over to it and was able to see, because it was a plastic bag with no like zipper, that it was a gun inside. However, it was determined that they couldn't prove allegedly it was his gun. They just detained Copeland because of his history of being a gang member. Now, my question, and if Rod, you may have the same question, was what was the purpose of Copeland requesting to talk to Gaither?
Who is Gaither?
That's
The
the
detective.
investigator, yeah, the detective.
So he
Hey,
had to
Mickey.
speak after he was already detained.
Yeah,
So
but they said he wasn't arrested. He wasn't even read his
My
rights.
nigga, my nigga was willing to tell off real.
yeah, it seemed like he already goddamn been informed or something. Already had a
Exactly.
relationship with Gaither for him to request her if they trying to lock him up by some more shit, and he like, no, call Gaither.
That's what I took from it too. Um, and I'm gonna say it's not any other than that last paragraph I just read y'all. They don't go into any more information about what he said to Gaither, other than he requested to talk to her. And I don't know about y'all, but why would I want to talk to another police when I don't even, I'm trying not to even talk to the first police that got me hemmed up?
Hey, Mickey, you had mentioned the dentist too. You said something. You said dentist?
Dimitri Garlington.
No, I thought you said dentist for one of them cops.
Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Let me look at Dennis. It's Mercure. It's Mercure. Oh, no. Her partner. Give me a minute. Her partner. What was his name? Yes. Her partner is investigator Dennis.
Okay, yeah, that nigga used to be head of the gang unit.
Yep. So now the thing that threw me off with it, right? Because like I said, we already confirmed whether you agree that it's snitching or you just say he told. Nevertheless, for whatever reason, he did tell on who shot at him in February of that year. Gaither was the investigator over that case, and we know from the records that she's in the gang task force. And we know from the records also, allegedly, Lil Woody is part of a gang. It never specified what gang he's a part of. Okay. However, basically a lot of these names that's being thrown out are gang members or affiliates of gangs. So if you already worked with this lady one time in a case, although you were technically the victim in the case, and as soon as you get hemmed up, because the gun he had was actually what dang, what did I wrote it down. It was a 223. What is that?
That's an AR.
AR.
It's an
So
AR
that's what he
pistol.
got
Semi-automatic.
caught with.
Yeah, It was a
Semi-automatic.
Yeah.
Diamondback 223.
Yeah, Diamond. Yep, that's exactly what it was. So it's just odd to me that you want to talk to the gang task force if you, I don't know. I've never got caught with nothing like that. I don't know. Somebody, if you was in that position, if you were somewhere knowing you had a gun on you, and you get hemmed up, however, they can't prove because you wasn't with the gun, what would your reaction be? Would you request to speak to an officer you
He's
already
a,
knew?
he already a felon right before this, right?
Yes.
Oh shit, it better.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'm thinking is
He
Better
already
what
like,
know.
now?
cause she,
He already know he's going to jail anyway.
I think what I'm thinking is because she was on the first case, so she probably know he just got out. He was like, "Shit, call her. She could tell you I just got out, man.
Yeah.
I ain't doing nothing."
So listen to this. Y'all ready for the kicker? After he talked to the gang unit, they basically dropped him off at a store.
They probably stopped him.
What
They
y'all think
probably
of
stopped
that?
and got him a burger and everything before they dropped him off.
I mean, they gonna leave him right there, nigga. Like, drop me back off at the store.
I don't know
Nigga
about y'all
definitely ain't gonna
though.
say drive me off in the hood. Shit.
Right. Let me out
But
at the
I don't know
store.
about y'all though. A convicted felon caught with an AR
At that
and
moment, he.
you asked to talk to the gang unit. They ain't asked to talk to you. You asked to talk to the gang unit, and then you get dropped off.
All right, so this is before Thug them got picked up, right?
Right.
Now, from what I understand, when YFN went to jail, you know what I'm saying, we had the Atlanta room, and it was a guy, they say he had just got out the county like a month prior to coming into the room. And he was like, shit, that was a conversation going around the whole YSL situation in the county. So, you know, a lot of times they know what's going on before it hit the street.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, he came and informed me, for sure.
Yeah. Now, I will, for all my listeners, y'all know I like to just, it's definitely opinionated. However, paperwork, it does not mention the informant with his name. However, like I said, the affidavit from the incident that involved him and his family being shot at, it clearly says he identified who the shooters was. All right. And in many documents, the officers, including the gang unit, even said they were aware of the threat on his life in the streets to the point that's why they allowed him to leave. Guess what? With the AR. The AR was never turned in to evidence or nothing. They gave it back to a convicted felon.
I mean, that's cause he working. Or like I said, at that moment, that's when he started. And that whatever conversation happened in that car, you know what I'm saying? That's where it started.
I would definitely have to agree. Now, does the paperwork in black and white say that like he was working? He doesn't. It doesn't. But I mean, it's the assumption is definitely there. I would say that much.
I mean, is it in the discovery? Is his name mentioned in the discovery?
In the YSL discovery or in,
Yeah, YSL.
that's a good question. Give me 1 second. Because I got that discovery actually. Boom, 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 boom.
I mean,
But
I
yeah,
mean, it
y'all.
might. It's gonna be like, uh, if not, then it's gonna be just like the gun and everybody else situation. I don't think it's gonna be no black and white. And like I said before, that recording of his court date, that shit wasn't supposed to get out.
Oh yeah, the gunner thing, it definitely wasn't. It was actually a document on file that wasn't supposed to be no recording devices in a courtroom. So somebody did that on like some undercover type thing. They wasn't aware of it. But yeah, so I don't see Copeland name on the discovery for the YSL Rico case. But that's neither here or there. because I'm going to tell you the next part in this case. Now, let me find his plea for the. Okay. So he pled guilty to the federal gun charge because the April 28th, 2015 incident with the AR-15, they investigated more and they decided to go arrest him in June 2015. At that time, he was then arrested because he had, not only did they have an arrest warrant, but they found another gun in the house. Now, let me tell y'all about that situation before I even get into what he pleaded. It's him, his baby mama, and their baby in the apartment, right? They said the police came, knocked on the door, and the baby mama said, "Yeah, you can come in." They go in the house. They see like paraphernalia. So obviously you already know that's about to just have them just looking around. The baby mama then says, "Oh, it's nothing in here. It's no guns or nothing in here. You can look wherever you want to." So the police looked in a drawer in the kitchen and found a 9mm pistol. Then they goes to say, "Now, where is Copeland?" She's like, "Oh, he's outside in the car." They're like, "Well, who car is it?" And then she goes to say, "Her mom's." They go look in the car and find some items with nobody name. Um, Nobody that's associated with them name on it. However, they're like, "Well, who laptop is this?" She's like, "Oh, that's my friend." And then the paperwork says Juju. So they're like, "Oh, well, call Juju so we can verify it." So the Juju don't know if it's a girl or a boy. Says, "No, that's not mine." So they run the serial number to everything now that's in the car, and everything came back stolen. Y'all think Copeland told who stole it, or y'all think he just went with it?
I mean, it really don't matter at that point. Shit, Thug brother just got free for the same thing. Stolen property. That was his choice.
Anybody
I
else? Y'all
mean,
think
that stolen
he?
property not gonna outweigh the convicted felon with a gun or two guns or whatever it is.
Well, in his case, he still told who stole the property. He didn't get charged with it. So that's already the second time he snitched. And they
Niggas,
still took him to jail. They still took him to jail. So that's where the second count came in for the gun charge. So, like I told y'all in the beginning, he had two gun charges. Now, this is his plea. For count one, he has. Let me make sure I pay attention to this. The maximum term of 10 years with up to 3 years supervised release and mandatory special assessments of $100 due and payable immediately. And he had to turn over all firearms and ammunition involved in the offense. So not all of it, but just the offense. Um, let me see what else it says here. Then it has a clause in here that says the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia agrees not to bring further criminal charges against the defendant related to the charges to which he is pleading guilty. The defendant understands that this provision does not bar prosecution by any other federal, state, or local capacity. These are what Copeland said yes to. Now this is in paper form, but in my mind, I'm just thinking of like the Gunner situation where they said this and he said yes, ma'am. That's just how I'm looking at it. But this is what he said are facts. Says on April 28, 2015, Copeland entered the Dunbar Recreational Center gym within the Northern District of Georgia. When Copeland entered the gymnasium, he was carrying a plastic white H&M bag. Copeland knew there was a Diamondback 223 assault rifle with serial number such and such inside of his white HMM bag. Copeland then placed the white HMM bag, still containing the assault rifle, on the bleachers and began playing basketball nearby. Shortly after, a caller called 911 and reported that a man brought a machine gun inside of a white shopping bag to the Dunbar Center. The caller said the male was wearing True Religion jeans and currently playing basketball. Sometime later, law enforcement arrived at the gym. Law enforcement observed Copeland playing basketball and wearing True Religion jeans. Law enforcement approached Copeland, detained Copeland, and seized the HMM bag brought by Copeland. Inside, law enforcement found a Diamondback 223 assault rifle. The assault rifle possessed by Copeland was made in Florida and was seized by law enforcement in Georgia. Thus, it was in and or affected interstate commerce. Prior to possession the Diamondback 223 assault rifle on April 28, 2015, Copeland was convicted of the following crimes, all punishable by imprisonment exceeding 1 year: aggravated assault and possession of firearms during a commission of a felony, March 7, 2011, 2 counts of entering an automobile, August 12, 2013, and 3 counts of threats and 3 counts of aggravated assault, August 12, 2013. How you get all that in one case? Woo. Okay. So that's pretty much his plea deal. And he went on to do his time inside the federal penitentiary, and I had pulled up when he got out. Actually, give me 1 second. So while I do that, what y'all think so far? Y'all don't think nothing about it?
He get picked up by the feds.
He got picked up by the Fed in 2015.
He come home.
He came home from the Feds September 12, 2019. And from 2019 until this year, he was on would have been on supervised release. However, he violated his release. And that's what we're going into now. Now, so far, like I said, I have not found anything with any names of anybody that's on the YSL RICO case. And I even looked at the YFN Lucci RICO case. No names. I cross-referenced them. They have not popped up as of yet. However, the next part to me is a little shaky. I mean, it depends on, I guess, who's listening, what they take from it. And I'm gonna go into that in just one moment. So, on May 11th, 2021, hold on, is this 2021? Yeah, May 11th, 2021, they are stating a hearing to revoke the supervised release. And it says on here, defendant has a history of violent crimes, including conviction for assault with deadly weapon. The petitioner involved the alleged use of a firearm in confrontation with another person, as well as fleeing from the police. Now, why was he doing all that at that point in his life? Is my question.
He was probably doing some of no business when he got caught.
Yep, and that's where I'm about to go to. So now it goes from, so I'm like, okay, so is he in the feds again, or where he at, right? So I pull up his jail records from Georgia, and I see the following charges from May 13th, 2020. And these are the charges: unlawful for person employed by / associated with criminal street gang to conduct or participate in criminal acts. That's 2 charges for that. The next one is possession of controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute. Then it's possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Now, That's the unlawful for person employed by associated with criminal street gang. That looked familiar to me, right? So I went and I did look at the YSL case, and Young Thug has that same charge, right? Well, all of them have that same charge. So I'm cross-referenced the date. However, the dates are not the same as far as the charges being imposed. So that doesn't say that, you know, that doesn't make sense to be on both cases. But when
The
I looked up the
investigation
case
been
number,
going on.
right now, listen to this. I looked up the case number. Is another guy on this same case with the same charges as Copeland, and his name is Rontrez Brock, right? So they both have all the same charges. Now, fast forward to 2022. For everybody that even have looked at the YSL case, um, most of those people got arrested May 2022, right or wrong. Anybody know?
Yeah, you right.
Okay.
So they
Now
want some.
listen to this. Again, at this point, I want to be clear. This is just a fact mixed with my opinion, or I'm just gonna put the thought out there because that's how I'm thinking of it. Okay, here we go. On June, hold on, let me get the date right. Let me get the date right. June 7th, 2022. Rontrez Brock and Kenneth Copeland both pleaded out to all of their charges. Kenneth Copeland, aka Lil Woody, got what did he do? He pleaded guilty with Alfred for 15 years to serve 3 years, balance of 12 years probation. And Rontrez Brock received 20 years to be served on probation. And their state cases are closed.
They just picked him up before Rico. I mean, before they picked up everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
2 years actually before the actual Rico case hit Young Thug. But their pleas didn't happen until after the Rico hit everybody. What I find interesting
Hey,
is in the videos, and y'all definitely pull up on YouTube and watch these videos. If you look up Lil Woody YSL, you'll see the what was the name of it? The Dirty Glove Bastard
Mm-hmm.
interview, and then there's like a couple other interviews. He screamed his affiliation hard with a YSL, right? Heavy. Like every interview, he talks about it. He also talks about being in the streets and all this and that. So my thing is, allegedly, in my opinion, if you're saying, "Oh yeah, me and Thug, like yeah, that's my partner, like I'm YSL all day long," you get charged with criminal gang activity. What gang was the activity with? Because all
Rod,
you're screaming in YSL.
Rod, what's they said?
I think Ross said he had to go to work. Be right back.
You think what they said? What blood shit they claim?
Right. So again, none of the paperwork ever specifies what gang he's tied to. Okay. The only gang that they refer to is the nine deuce bloods. That's it. And
Yeah,
I
what's they said?
doubt he was part of that one because that was the set that tried to kill him, basically. Um, but that's just my opinion on that one. That's the only gang though. It never specified it. I always said he had gang ties, a gang affiliation, and they know that, but they never said what gang.
Why they try to kill him?
Yep. Other than
No,
because
I'm
of
asking
the
why.
nut murder.
He might have violated in some kind of way.
Could be.
hey, he done did something don't nobody know about. But damn.
I can't hear you.
So he
They
done
said they
did something
probably.
don't nobody know about. But damn.
Could be. So out of all 500 pages, took me all day. This is my summary. Did Lil Woody snitch? Yes. Did Lil Woody snitch on YSL? I don't know.
Yes.
Cause it's
They
no
built
black and white though.
they built this case on was YSL a record label or gang. He was the first nigga to say that it was a gang.
But it's no black and white stating that. Cause like I told y'all, throughout all the document 500 to be exact for Lil Woody, YSL is not mentioned. No other gang is mentioned except Nine Deuce Bloods. However, it does say he is part of a gang. It even, matter of fact, for the Fed case, he even requested to get out early, which was denied, but he requested to get out early, stating that what is it called? It's like reduce or renounce your place in gang or something like
He
that.
had to drop his flag.
Yeah, they put that in the court paper. So he basically admitted to being in a gang, but it never said what gang. So on the purpose of paperwork, what I can prove, it doesn't state it. Can I kind of put an opinion piecing together from the facts? What I feel like possibly YSL was his gang. So it would make sense to the theories that's out there, but from a fact basis, I don't have black and white that says he even was a part or affiliated with YSL.
Is it black and white for Gunna or anybody else that took the same plea?
Other than their statements, no.
He got the same situation. They already set the play. Starting with him and whoever else they got.
But see, that's another thing though, Dom. On the plea agreement, it asks certain questions, and that question wasn't on there.
From what I understand, Lil Woody is the person or the witness that's afraid for his life and his family's life, from what I understand.
I have heard that too, and to be real, the paperwork says that too. Because, like I told y'all, the February document of 2015 states that out of 14 shootings, 10 of them was directed at him or his family. So I agree that that's probably true. So now I was talking to somebody earlier. I think it was EA. I was talking to him, and I said, what we won't know for sure if he really was, and like I said, the streets say it, but as far as paperwork, we'll have to wait till the cases close on Thug to actually be able to dig in it. Because while it's open, it's gonna be limited. A lot of stuff is sealed. We're not gonna be able to see it. Like the Fed case from Lil Woody that's closed, I can, like I said, 500 pages, transcripts, everything. I got everything. Great discussion, and I definitely want to shout out everybody on Clubhouse, especially the clout monsters that pulled up on me, which was Don Ben, EA King, Rod the Savage, Cocaine, Scanless, Black Jers, Miss Sharon. Who else put up? Nisha Kim pulled up. A lot of people was in the room. However, they chose not to speak. But in any way that you showed your support, I appreciate you. If I forgot to mention you, I do apologize. However, y'all already know I rocks with y'all. Definitely make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mickey Truth 2022. Continue to run my views up on my podcast platform, and I'm gonna keep rocking out. Y'all already know how I do. I rocks with who rocks with me. With that, I'm gonna close out, but keep supporting me, and I'm gonna keep doing what I do best, dropping no facts. So holla at your girl.